What if your trust issues have less to do with them and more to do with you? I know how that sounds. You've been hurt, you've been let down, maybe even betrayed by someone who is supposed to have your back. I am not saying that pain isn't real. It is. But I want to offer a different lens today because I think it is the one that actually sets you free instead of keeping you in a loop of distrust and possibly even fight or flight. We can put this into perspective across every kind of relationship you have. Intimate, the partner whose loyalty you keep questioning. Spiritual, the higher power or spiritual practice you can't fully surrender to because some part of you needs proof first. Career, the boss whose feedback you replay for days, trying to figure out what they really mean. Family, the sister you're pissed off at because she hurt your feelings, but instead of talking it through, you shut down and go silent. Friends, when they call to vent and talk about themselves every time, you listen and don't say a word, but you hang up feeling exhausted and flat. Different arenas, same exact route. When we don't trust our own inner voice, we look to those around us to provide validation of safety, credibility, value. We make it their job to make us feel secure. But here is the problem with that. You have just handed over the most important job in your life, the job of making you feel safe, to someone who never signed up for it and was never capable of doing it in the first place. No partner, no boss, no friend, no parent can manufacture your sense of security. They can support it, they cannot create it. And when you ask them to, you're setting both of you up to fail. When you build trust within yourself, all of these things come internally. That is the real game changer. Not because the outside world stops mattering. That's not what I'm saying at all, but because you stop needing it to save you. There are moments where we all feel insecure. Someone has an opinion we don't agree with, but we don't speak up. We have an argument with our partner, but don't actually say how we're feeling because that fear of rejection or even abandonment comes online fast. These moments are going to happen, definitely. You can't avoid them. You aren't going to wake up tomorrow with zero insecurity, and luckily, that's not the goal. The goal is that these moments, these insecurities become less frequent and less loud. You start to connect with you. Let's actually get practical. If you're struggling with what this looks like day to day, here's where you start. First, the next time you go to ask someone what they think about your situation, pause. Notice that reflex, that instinct to immediately outsource, to text the group chat, to ask your mom, to run it by your partner before you've even asked yourself. Before you do that, ask yourself first. Close your eyes if you need to and actually feel into the question. Not think your way through it, not around it. Feel into it. How do you feel? What does your gut say before anyone else's opinion touches it? You are allowed to get other perspectives. That's not what I'm saying. But if the very first move you make is always outward, you never build that muscle of hearing your own voice clearly. And it is a muscle. It atrophies from disuse just like any other muscle would. Second, the next time someone says the thing you don't agree with, say your opinion out loud, not in your head, not muttered under your breath, and not after the conversation's over and it's too late. Understand that when you have that fear of rejection, that fear of being seen and heard, anxiety is going to kick in. It's going to show up every single time in the beginning, and it will make you want to shut down. This takes me back to school days. Remember reading out loud in class and it was almost your turn? That creeping dread, oh God, what if I stumble on a word? What if I sound stupid? What if everyone's looking at me? That anxiety that builds more and more the closer it gets to you. I dreaded that. I remember it very clearly. It is completely normal You read just fine, and even if there were a few hiccups, you're here, alive and kicking. We made it through. Your nervous system triggers that anxiety for a protection mechanism, but it isn't protection at all. You still have to say the thing because your opinion is just as valuable as the next person's, but you aren't going to recognize this. You aren't going to believe it on any level that matters without actually using your voice. The anxiety will pass. And here's the part people don't tell you enough. It gets smaller every single time you do it. Not gone, smaller. Rep by rep, like anything else you train. And third, the one we've all heard and struggled the hardest to actually live out, just say no. If something is asked of you and you don't feel comfortable with it, if it doesn't fit your schedule, if you genuinely just don't want to do it, say no. Full sentence. No over explaining, no 3-paragraph justification text, no sorry, it's just that. No. It's a complete sentence all by itself. I understand that's easier said than done when most of us were raised. Definitely most of us were raised to believe that saying no makes us difficult, selfish, or unlikable. But if you truly practice this, even in small, low stakes moments, you will find yourself trusting your own judgment and your own reactions more and more. Every no you honor is evidence you're gathering that your boundaries matter. And you need that evidence. You won't believe it just because I said it in this video. You'll believe it when you've lived it and you practice enforcing it. I know firsthand because I was the biggest yes person for most of my life. And now you couldn't get me to revert back for all the wine in the world. No. Here's what I really want you to sit with. You aren't struggling with these things because you aren't smart, intuitive, or knowledgeable. You already have what you need built into your internal knowing. You are struggling because you need to rebuild trust in yourself after being programmed by families, by school, by relationships, by culture to outsource your knowing. Every single time that outsourcing happens, you hand over a little more power. You become powerless over your own values, your own boundaries, your own beliefs, because you've trained yourself to look outside for the final word on what's true for you. That programming, however, can be undone. Not overnight and not through one video or one affirmation, through reps, through pausing before you ask, through speaking even when your voice shakes, through letting no be enough. Practice these steps one at a time, and you will see results and rebuild that trust within yourself only you can provide. If this resonates with you, I'd love for you to stay a while, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which of these 3 you find hardest. Asking yourself first, speaking your opinion out loud, or saying no. I read every single one, and it helps me know what to cover next.